Hi, welcome back to Three and Out with Chris Spielman. I'm Mike O'Hara, and once again, we're brought to you by Comerica. Chris Spielman, the losing streak continued for the Detroit Lions on Sunday at home. 35-27 loss to the Dallas Cowboys. You know, a nice back and forth game. Both teams answered back when they got behind, but I think maybe the story of the game is another bad effort by the Detroit Lions. Defensively, 509 yards. They gave up 444 yards passing to Dak Prescott. When you see this team and you look at the highlights or the lowlights, what strikes you about the way the Detroit Lions are being carved up week after week defensively?
Well, I just think there's been some confusion or miscommunication in the secondary. And, when they play man coverage, they seem to be getting caught. And it's not always that the coverage is bad, it's just other guys are making plays over them. And it just, 500 and plus 500 plus yards, Mike, is tough to overcome. And I believe they had one turnover, or fumble recovery or something like. But when Dak Prescott has the kind of time that he was allowed, I know Detroit, I think, generated one sack, and you give him that kind of time, he's a pretty darn good quarterback, and he proved that yesterday.
Well, the Detroit Lions did what they wanted to do early, Chris. They got an early turnover converted into a touchdown for a 7-0 lead. But the Cowboys answered back, and it was back and forth a lot the entire game. We go into the second quarter. Here's a 21-yard touchdown catch and run by Pollard. Tony Pollard of the Dallas Cowboys to give them a 10-7 lead. Go three and out, break it down, tell us what you see.
Well, he's in a stacked position right there, and once he crosses the field, somebody has to pick him up. Now, there's either a miscommunication right there with Melvin, because you see two guys chasing Witten, so either the linebacker has him or Melvin has him. Right now, we have two guys and nobody on Pollard. Tracy Walker is a little bit late to the party. Then we get the missed tackle. So when you have a little bit of confusion in the back end and a guy running that wide open across the field, that tells me there's a lack of communication. But even though you have that lack of communication, you still have a chance to make a play. And so what happens here is Pollard does a great job and takes what could be a 6-yard gain and turn it into a touchdown run with 15 yards after the catch because of missed tackles.
Well, that made it 10-7, but the Lions answered back. Like I said, it just kept both teams kept answering back on scores. And here's Jeff Driscoll, you mentioned. Here's a 2-yard touchdown run by him. He had 50-plus yards scrambling. Terrific athlete. Break it down. Tell us what you see. Go three and out on this.
Well, this is just a zone read, and we're going to see it from the end zone. But Driscoll is going to read number 98 or 92 for the Dallas Cowboys come down. And when 92 comes down, watch his eyes, watch his head. He's going to look right at 92. When he sees 92 crash, that tells him to pull the ball and keep it and go score. Now, if 92 stays on him, that will tell him to give the ball to Scarborough and let Scarborough score. It was a good initial push by the up front by the offensive line, and Taylor Decker does just enough to push Sean Lee out of there. And it was an excellent play call and a very difficult play to stop on the red zone. I'm surprised more teams don't run this in the goal line situation, short yardage situation, or red zone, because NFL defenses aren't used to seeing that. And all Driscoll's doing, and they're not even blocking 92, they're just letting him run free. Then Driscoll will make a decision based off the path that 92 is taking, and it was a correct read. Look at his head looking right at him as soon as he pulls that ball. As soon as he sees him crash, he's taking it in.
Well, Chris, that made it 14-10. But we're going to move along to the fourth quarter, and the Cowboys are on the verge of blowing the game wide open. Here's a screen pass to Zeke Elliott from Ohio State. Let's get that in right now. Two-time rushing champion. The Lions held him in check as a runner, but they couldn't stop him on this play, and it's a 35-21 lead. Break it down. Go three and out. Tell us what you see.
Well, it's one of the rare times that I've seen. Maybe it happened more than I think, but it's the rare times where the Lions are actually rushing 6 guys in their man coverage. And this is the play you want to run against man, because you're going to have 2 offensive linemen run free and get out on Jalen Reeves-Maybin, number 44. And so that's just the right call against the right defense. And what I like here is that Dak Prescott, watch him deliver this ball fading away and sidearm, and Zeke Elliott makes a tremendous catch. Now, the only way to defend this, if I was coaching linebackers and I had Jalen right here, what I would tell him is that, I would run right to him. Anytime I have man coverage, I would call it go hug him up. That means run right to him, go grab him. Don't wait for him to come. Go get him, because by him hesitating just a little bit, it allows 70 to get on him and screen him away. Then Zeke Elliott, with a great catch, basically walks into the end zone untouched. That's just a perfect play call by Jason Garrett and the Cowboys offense against that defense. And you see Witten down there getting a good block on Wilson.
Well, that's a 2-touchdown lead for the Cowboys, and you're wondering, is this the end of the Detroit Lions? But it's not. They march back later in the fourth quarter, 75 yards in 5 plays, 25-yard touchdown pass to Marvin Jones Jr., his second score of the game. Break it down, go 3 and out. Tell us what you see on this play.
Well, I mean, you talked about it, Mike, is that one thing you can say about this team, what's a positive, is they don't quit. Marvin Jones is released clean up the field, so he's putting pressure on the safety right away. You have the inside slot receiver, number 3, taking the middle linebacker 54 out of it. I think that's Golladay. He's taking 54 out of there, so it's a layer pass. You have deep, intermediate, and short. Golladay sucks up the linebacker, which clears the middle for Marvin Jones. Good protection up front. Driscoll steps up into that throw and delivers a strike, and this is what Marvin Jones does and does quite well. Really good run after the catch, and once he gets around the end zone, he finds the end zone. This is just a well-executed play, and Ty Johnson, number 31, is going to come over here and get a nice little block to help clean up, to create that clean throwing lane so Driscoll can deliver the strike. And Golladay, or I think that's Golladay, that clears the middle, allowing Marvin Jones to work one-on-one with the safety. And it's just a beautifully executed play. There's green grass in front of Driscoll, a clear throwing lane, and he doesn't disappoint. Then, of course, the run after catch. Just a well done play by the Lions.
Chris, before we wrap it up right now, the Lions are really skidding, 6 losses in 7 games and going to Washington next week. If you're with this Detroit Lions team, what are you looking for? Where's the life raft? How do you get out of this spin?
Well, I think the last thing you do is you feel sorry for yourself. And everybody understands that they're in a results-oriented business. Everybody in NFL has an ego and has pride. And I expect the Lions to play with that pride and go down and get a win. I really feel, Driscoll's settling in, and I do think he's an effective backup for Matthew Stafford. And to me, I think they got a great chance of beating a struggling Washington Redskins team who's starting a rookie quarterback in Dwayne Haskins.
Well, that's a wrap for this week. Next up on Sunday, Detroit at Washington, kickoff 1 o'clock.